Unexpectedly, my visit to an old friend turned into a tough challenge. At first, I only planned to rest for a few days, but then James informed me that wild boars had started wreaking havoc, tearing up dozens of hectares. So, without hesitation, James and I jumped into the fight, determined to stop the wild beasts' advance. Could we reclaim peace for this land? Follow along our arduous and determined journey. At first light, just as the sun peaked over the horizon, our specialized hunting vehicle arrived at today's spot. Without hesitation, we moved swiftly into the area previously identified as a wild boar hotspot. Look at that. No mistake, they were busy grazing, completely unaware, as is typical for these beasts. I held my breath, squeezed the trigger decisively, a precise shot that kicked off today's hunt. Before I could even put my gun away, a signal from the team came through. There was a target at the edge of the field. Without hesitation, I dashed over, quick but alert, every sense on high alert, heart pounding with anticipation.
Snyggt. Hello.
The moment I spotted the target, a sharp gunshot cracked through the air. Perfect. Another trophy down, and this place was spared from destruction once again. A small victory, but one that strengthened our resolve on this challenging journey. We paused to rest, but vigilance never wavered for a single moment. Through the binoculars, a hefty wild boar, quietly foraging, came into clear view. The shot had to be precise. Any mistake, and the beast could easily slip away. At over 100 meters, I carefully adjusted my aim. The moment arrived, I squeezed the trigger and hit the mark. The 150-kilogram boar dropped instantly. No matter how tough or fierce the target, we were determined to bring it down. Today's proof? The freedom of these fields, reclaimed with one well-placed shot. This vast grassy field offers great visibility, but is also a deadly trap for anyone unfamiliar with wild boars. With their cunning minds and lightning-fast speed, they can slip away and devastate the homeland if you're not prepared and quick to react the moment they appear. Only James, with his seasoned experience, can read the enemy's moves and take precise action the instant it shows up. The sun was fading, but our steps didn't stop as we moved to another corner of the field. Predicting they'd show up here, I took my position and waited in ambush. I took careful aim, and the gunshot rang out immediately. A perfect, decisive shot took down the destructive wild boar. Each shot isn't just a thrill, it's a duty to protect this life. What do you think? The clock struck 6 p.m. as we quickly packed up and left the field, heading home after a long, exhausting day. A shadow flickered once more in James' sights. Every move he made was swift and precise, marking the final shot of the day's hunt.
In just 1 week, they ravaged it brazenly in broad daylight, moving in packs that only grew larger. Farmers no longer dared to plant new crops. Now, Thomas and his hunting team are setting up an ambush, using the terrain and the creatures' movement patterns to their advantage. But this isn't just any hunt, it's a battle to reclaim their land. Will their strategy be enough to stop the destruction? The answer lies just ahead. At first light, the team quietly stepped onto the field where the havoc was being wreaked. The hunting dogs were released, quickly picking up the scent. Alarm barks echoed through the air, and Thomas and his team immediately braced themselves for the no-holds-barred battle ahead. Oh my god! A fierce wild boar charged straight at them. Without hesitation, gunshots rang out. Precise shots swiftly took down the rampaging beast. It was a lightning-fast takedown, showcasing the team's seamless coordination and seasoned expertise. Moving deeper into the field, Thomas's eyes silently scanned for the next target. A dark shape was quietly grazing, completely unaware it was being watched. Thomas quickly found the perfect position, lined up his shot. In a flash, the trigger was squeezed. One single bullet was all it took. The beast dropped right on the spot. A swift, clean, and decisive strike, stopping yet another threat to the field. At the western edge of the field, the shadow of a beast appeared, gearing up for its final rampage. But today, luck was not on its side. Jay was waiting. The relentless crack of gunfire followed it closely, each shot hitting its mark. Within seconds, the beast lay motionless, unable to fight back. Another claw stopped, another piece of land protected. As nightfall descended, the real hunt began. At 7 p.m., Thomas's team took their positions, ready for battle under the thick darkness. The infrared binoculars were activated, revealing a clear scene. A herd of wild boars was busily foraging at the edge of the field, completely unaware. Thomas locked onto his target, his finger squeezing the trigger without hesitation. The gunshot rang out, instantly causing chaos. The entire herd panicked and scattered, leaving behind their fallen comrade.
Hey!
Pressing deeper into the heart of the area, their steps grew more cautious than ever. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the silence, putting Thomas instantly on high alert. He swung his flashlight towards the noise. Oh, there it is! The bullet flew decisively, striking the beast dead on. A fate with no other outcome for the Dark Marauder. A signal sounded nearby, alerting them to the presence of the beast. Thomas immediately moved to the designated spot. Through the infrared binoculars, it wasn't just one, but a whole herd gathered, ready for destruction. Everything was locked in sight. Suddenly, a burst of gunfire erupted, giving them no chance to fight back. Within seconds, the field was littered with fallen beasts. A major threat stopped just in time. For many, this is a hunt, but for us, it's a mission. Wild boars are not ordinary prey. They are a destructive force, fierce and relentless. To confront them in these vast fields, you need speed, vision, and firepower. That's why we're here, aboard this helicopter, to carry out the important task, entrusted to us by the community, to protect the harvest and preserve the peace of this land. Join us as we embark on today's wild boar hunt. And don't forget, watch until the end of the video to vote for the most impressive takedown. The whole team donned protective gear, earphones to block out the noise, weapons at the ready. We boarded the compact helicopter and headed out toward the mist-covered fields. Down on the prairie is always the perfect time to start. When the dark shape of the wild boar emerges, everything happens like clockwork. As the helicopter lowers, my shots are fired quickly and decisively, each one bringing the mighty beast down. The first trophy of the day, an unforgettable debut. The peace didn't last long, as the signs of destruction left by the wild boar led us straight to the western fields. As soon as they were spotted, the boars scattered, an age-old distraction tactic. Just then, the guide's voice crackled through the earpiece. Priority target on the right. I quickly locked onto it and fired in rapid succession. Despite the boar's strength and speed, charging toward the brush in a desperate bid to escape, it couldn't outrun the judgment of death. How many points would you give for this seamless coordination? From the helicopter door, a dark shape moving unusually across the field caught James's sharp eye, and the helicopter quickly swooped in. His sights locked onto the fast-moving target. From hundreds of meters away, the single shot performed flawlessly. Unbelievable! This wasn't luck. This was the skill of a professional marksman, honed through years of rigorous training. When the sun reaches its zenith and the heat becomes unbearable, wild boars seek refuge in denser, more treacherous areas like the hillside. At this point, the helicopter no longer holds the advantage. We are forced to switch to ground ambush tactics. Following the tracks, we cornered a wild boar at the base of the slope with no way out. The moment it attempted to climb, it exposed its weakness. Without hesitation, David's shot rang out decisively. All its efforts crumbled, and it collapsed, sliding helplessly down the hill, like a puppet whose strings had been cut. At the same time, on the other side of the hill, Rose silently dealt with a target hidden in the brush. With sniper skills honed to perfection, she gave the prey no chance to react. A clean, sharp shot. That's the kind of work style we always strive for. Efficient, precise, and without a sound. And a peaceful night's sleep for the locals is the true testament to the results of our hunting team's efforts. As we packed up our gear and headed back in the twilight, a wild boar's crude head suddenly emerged from the brush, clearly visible right in front of me. It thought its stillness would conceal it from the hunter. My finger took care of the rest. One clean shot, like a final farewell, shattering its naive illusion and bringing the day's hunt to a perfect close. From the heart-stopping aerial combat in the morning to the intense ground-based strategy in the afternoon, our team executed the mission flawlessly. The Land Rover Defender was ready to carry us and our spoils back. A portion of the game will be used to treat the farmers who trusted and supported us in protecting their land. Checking the highlight footage on the iPhone 15, the quality is unmatched. There are definitely some shots that will leave you in awe. If you enjoyed moments like these, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back soon, stronger and sharper. See you on the next hunt! Months of sweat and toil had led to this moment, the time to reap what we'd sown. But our joy was shattered by a heartbreaking sight. Rows of corn stalks lay crushed, cobs torn apart, the fields scarred with fresh signs of destruction. The culprits? A rampaging herd of wild boars. Our hard work, our dreams, reduced to rubble in an instant. Unwilling to surrender, we grabbed our rifles and set out to take down these invaders. This cornfield, my family's pride, where Devil and I now stand, is nothing but a scene of devastation. The wreckage speaks for itself, no explanation needed. The culprit revealed itself in a flash. A massive black shadow tearing through the clearing, quick as lightning. I fired, round after round. The beast took a hit, but charged wildly into the corn, desperate to escape. My eyes never wavered, my grip steady. One final shot. Dead on! Ended it all! No matter how stubborn, no destroyer can outmatch us, the rightful guardians of this land, hunters born from this soil. Out in the cornfield, the hunt was no easy task. Too many perfect hiding spots for those wild boars. As we moved along the irrigation ditch, Devil suddenly surged forward. I read his signal and followed close behind. Out of nowhere, a ferocious boar charged across our path, cutting us off. Quick as lightning, Devil fired. The first shot sent the beast into a frenzy, crashing through the tall grass. But it didn't get far. The second shot, clean and decisive, left it cold. Another destroyer felled in the heart of our field, because we won't let this land be violated. A rustle erupted from the corn rows, and in an instant, 2 wild boars burst from the thicket, practically begging to be targeted. Caught off guard, I was on my own to face this sudden chaos. I fired rapidly, bullets chasing their frantic path. Boom! Boom! One boar dropped dead in its tracks. But in a split second, before I could even blink, the other vanished into the dense underbrush, slipping from my sights. Looks like today's hunt is throwing us more challenges than we bargained for. True companions, my dog zeroed in on the target in a flash, charging forward and clamping down hard on the boar's leg, cutting off any chance of escape. Right on cue, Devil stepped up and pulled the trigger. The massive boar collapsed, going limp in an instant. What a textbook takedown. What do you think? Drop a comment below. As we moved to the hillside, our dog's fierce barking erupted from the thicket. Without a second's hesitation, boom! A bullet struck its head, sending it reeling backward, tumbling down the slope. My heart raced. A split second slower, and I might have been the one tumbling. As the afternoon sun cast long shadows, the distant thud of hooves echoed in my ears. I was ready, so when 2 boars charged out of the brush, one after the other, I wasn't caught off guard. With years of experience, I locked onto my targets. One shot, and the first boar dropped. A second bullet, swift and short, felled the other as it scrambled to flee. The tension melted away, replaced by an unexpected wave of relief. As the final rays of sunlight stretched across the cornfields, we trudged back to the village, our trophies slung over our shoulders, drenched in the sweat of our labor. Just days ago, a horde of wild boars swept through California's fields, leaving devastation in their wake and injuring a farmer. Thomas's hunting team was urgently dispatched to the area. Armed with top-notch gear and a pack of skilled hunting dogs, they charged straight for the beast's hideout. The tracks scarring the fields were undeniable proof of the destructive power of these monsters. Thomas knew this hunt would be a dangerous battle, but nothing could halt his advance. Can the team stop this disaster in its tracks? Follow along to witness the heart-pounding clashes unfold. Following the faint tracks, Thomas moved silently. He settled into his ambush spot, patiently waiting for his target to appear. About 15 minutes later, a dark shape slowly and silently emerged from the thick bushes. Seizing his chance, Thomas raised his rifle and fired instantly. The wounded animal thrashed and tried to escape, but a second shot completely stopped its desperate run. The first trophy of the day was secured with a perfectly executed series of shots. Their celebration was short-lived. The GPS blared with a new signal: more prey. They rushed to the location, and a small team fanned out to set a tight perimeter. And just like that, a herd of wild boars appeared in their sights. A continuous volley of shots rang out, relentlessly pursuing them as they ran. When the echoes faded, the hillside was littered with the scattered bodies of the fallen. A few hundred meters from Thomas, Jay was in the perfect ambush position, cutting off a wild boar as it snaked through the thick bushes, desperate to escape. The moment was perfect. Jay instantly pulled the trigger. The decisive crack of the rifle and a perfect shot found its mark. The beast had no chance. It collapsed motionless onto the ground. It was a precise shot, ending a threat and protecting the land once more. Before he could even catch his breath, the frantic barking of dogs in a nearby thicket immediately drew Thomas's attention. He moved toward the sound without a second thought. As he pushed through the dense trees, he kept his eyes peeled, ready for anything. Oh my God! A massive wild boar burst from the bushes, charging straight at him. Thanks to his quick instincts and years of experience, a single, precise shot saved him from the beast's sudden attack. This isn't just a hunt, it's a life or death battle. You have to be prepared for every possible situation. hunt wasn't over yet, and the sun grew more intense. After moving for a while, Thomas paused, his eyes scanning every blade of grass. Before long, a shape lurking behind the leaves slowly came into view. With nothing left to hide it, a sharp shot rang out. A clean hit that left the beast with no chance to escape. The sun was beginning to set, and the team rushed to finish the hunt before darkness fell over the hillside. Meanwhile, Jay remained patient in his position, waiting for a target to appear. His long wait paid off. A beast came into his sights. He fired several quick shots, but they weren't enough to take the animal down completely. Wounded, it managed to drag itself into the thick bushes across from him. Jay quickly tracked it down and secured his trophy, completely eliminating the threat once and for all.
Today began like any other, until an alarm suddenly pierced the quiet. Without hesitation, Nick and his team sprang into action, instinctively gearing up and rushing toward the fields. No words were spoken, only tense eyes met and swift footsteps advanced toward the hotspot. Before them lay only traces, footprints etched into every inch of soil, marks left on the crops. Would they succeed in hunting down this destructive force? Stay tuned. What follows is a relentless battle about to unfold. Early morning, before the sun even dared to rise, the world across the Italian wetlands felt frozen in silence, utterly still. Only the soft, careful footsteps broke the hush, each step cautiously following the faint traces left behind. After 15 minutes of relentless tracking, a sharp crack of gunfire marked the fierce beginning of today's battle. The wild boar fought desperately to escape, but Nick's swift grip sealed its fate. The first prize of the hunt was swiftly secured in his hands. They pressed on toward the edge of the field, an obvious path the wild boars would take. While scanning the thicket across from him, a dark shape suddenly burst forth, charging into the field. ready to wreak havoc. But today, Nick was there. A gunshot rang out instantly, and in the blink of an eye, the beast was down. Another threat neutralized under the steady aim of a seasoned hunter. Before he could even reach to check, a familiar sound echoed from deep within the field. Just a few hundred meters away, without hesitation, he sprinted toward it, each step urgent, but his sharp eyes scanning every corner with a relentless focus. As he came to a halt and raised his gun to take aim, a wild boar stepped right into his sights. The cold crack of the shot rang out. The bullet found its mark, and the beast, powerless, collapsed on his right. While Nick was locked in intense battle, in another corner, James quickly spotted his target. His eyes swept over an open patch just in time to catch a wild boar charging wildly, as if fleeing from some unseen terror. Not giving it a chance to escape, James squeezed the trigger instantly. The beast tumbled down onto the dry grass. With that, a fresh wave of attack on this field. The journey wasn't over yet. The team quickly moved toward Nick's family orchard. Upon arrival, not a sound was heard as they silently took their positions, slipping into hiding spots. The hunters readied their guns, poised and waiting. 20 minutes under the blazing sun tested their patience to the limit. Then, the moment finally came for Nick. With the power of a single bullet, he cut off every escape route for the beast. What do you think of this shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The hunters pressed on, step by step, even as the rain began to fall. Yet neither Nick nor his team showed any sign of slowing down. Focus sharpened to its peak as their vision grew blurred by the downpour. Suddenly, a wild boar darted across their path, but it couldn't escape Nick's keen gaze. A precise shot rang out, striking the beast dead on. A flawless move, halting razor-sharp tusks that threatened to ravage the orchard.
Shadow of Death. Hunters confront wild boar in the dense forest. From rugged hillsides to dense shadowy forests, nothing can halt the advance of these fearless marksmen. Fierce battles, confronting danger to protect crops, land, and livestock from the devastation of wild beasts. The heart-pounding hunts that follow will keep you glued to the screen. Each shot left you stunned. Watch to the end, and don't forget to share your thoughts with us. At dawn, Nick's hunting team set out in their familiar truck to an area reported to be hiding a group of wild boars.
Yes.
Upon arrival, the team swiftly took their pre-planned positions, fully prepared, waiting for their prey to emerge. After a tense wait, Lucky spotted the silhouette of a wild boar on the opposite hillside. The moment its form broke through the tree cover, Lucky fired. A rapid succession of gunshots echoed, finally halting its charge. Leaving the boar no chance to wreak further havoc on the land. On the eastern slope of the hill, after a period of observation, a dark figure weaving through the bushes came into clear view through Nick's binoculars. His rifle was ready, and he precisely tracked the wild boar's movement. With a single shot, the beast collapsed on the spot. Its escape route was completely cut off, restoring peace to the land. At the same moment, another hunting team was tracking the wild beasts in a dense forest. Upon arriving, they quickly took up blocking positions, surrounding the forest with a resolve to prevent any boar from charging down to devastate the crops. Deep in the woods, John spotted a herd of wild boars hiding in the thick underbrush ahead. A gunshot rang out, sending the herd into a panicked stampede. Unexpectedly, a few chose the wrong direction, charging straight into John's line of sight. Without hesitation, a bullet struck the second boar, dropping it instantly. The others managed to vanish into the deep forest, leaving John no further chance to pull the trigger. Outside, the other team members also spotted the herd of frantic beasts charging out from the forest. The marksmen instantly took their positions, ready for the targets to emerge.
Yapıştır. Çok iyi. Tamam.
As soon as the boars appeared, a volley of gunshots rang out. But they moved too fast, leaving only one carcass behind in the underbrush. The radio crackled, relaying the escape routes of the wild boars to the remaining hunters. On the eastern edge of the forest, a boar charged straight through the blockade position of one of the team's marksmen. Its body fully exposed in a clearing, a sharp gunshot rang out decisively. The boar collapsed instantly, with no chance to flee. Almost simultaneously, other gunshots echoed through the forest, signaling that the remaining boars had been dealt with. The hunt concluded successfully, restoring peace to the land. Last week, a family in Spain was thrown into sheer panic. Their young livestock vanished one by one under the cover of night, leaving only strange tracks in the soil. Clear evidence of the culprit. The authorities sprang into action, and Kevin's hunting team was dispatched to the scene. Following the trail, they ventured into the heart of the beast's lair, a place where every step was a test of courage. They knew wild boars weren't just prey, they were predators. Can they succeed in restoring peace for the people here? Join us for the thrilling hunt that unfolds next. At the break of dawn, the team plunged deep into the beast's lair, determined to take down every last one of the destructive marauders. Upon arrival, Kevin swiftly moved along the trail, a spot where wild boars were almost certain to appear. Just minutes later, the hound's barking snapped Kevin's attention. There it was, a massive beast emerged. Kevin executed a series of precise movements, waiting for the perfect shot. A bullet ripped through the air, striking the boar's hind leg. But with relentless strength, the creature tried to bolt. Not giving it a chance to escape, Kevin pursued relentlessly, unleashing a barrage of shots that echoed through the air. The thrilling chase ended with the beast's final defeat. The action didn't stop there. The hound's barking erupted again, grabbing Kevin's attention. He sprinted toward the sound, closing in fast. As his eyes scanned the area, a herd of boars suddenly charged across his path. Acting on instinct, Kevin fired shot after shot, managing to take down a few. But they were too numerous for him to handle alone. Luckily, Kevin wasn't solo today, and now the real hunt was just getting started. Deep in the tangled thicket, a a shadowy figure tore through the brush, fleeing something, but it didn't escape James' sharp eyes. The moment it entered his range, he pulled the trigger with unflinching precision. The bullet struck true, sending the beast tumbling, motionless, unable to run any further. One shot, swift, clean, and deadly accurate. At the same moment, a tense ambush was unfolding on the western hillside. A wild boar lurked in the thick brush, but it couldn't outsmart the keen noses of the professional hunting dogs. Suddenly, the beast charged, striking back and lightly injuring one of the dogs. But with Kevin's seamless coordination with the pack, the boar was brought down in a flash, unable to break free from the tightening circle. A flawless takedown stopped the beast's ferocious attack, bringing a little more safety to the land. Tracking the prey's trail, a signal from the team crackled through. A herd of wild boars was charging towards Kevin's position. Without hesitation, he and his crew raised their rifles, ready for action. Sure enough, in less than a minute, the herd burst into view. Shots rang out, dropping the boars one by one. Cheers erupted as the threat was neutralized with flawless precision. As the team prepared to pack up and head back to the rendezvous point, a familiar shadow slipped into Kevin's sights once more. Timing the moment its body came into clear view, he squeezed the trigger in a flash. Across the hillside, only dust and the beast's lifeless form remained on the ground. This hunt isn't just a passion, it's a vital battle to protect our native ecosystem